Okay, so once again, welcome to the Chenrezig Tibetan Buddhist Center. I just made prostrations. This is Namgyal Khensur Geshe Wandak, retired abbot of His Holiness the Dalai Lama's monastery. And today Rinpoche will be explaining the 7-limb prayer. Before we get started, let's do some introductory prayers. So to remove any obstacles or any problems that could occur during this teaching that wouldn't allow for a successful completion, we'll read the Sutra of the Heart of Transcendent Knowledge, because that topic of emptiness is the most powerful topic and the most powerful opponent to all negativities. The Sutra of the Heart of Transcendent Knowledge. Thus have I heard, once the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajagriha at Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a great gathering of the Sangha of monks and a great gathering of the Sangha of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the samadhi that expresses the Dharma called profound illumination. And at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, while practicing the profound Prajnaparamita, saw in this way. He saw the 5 skandhas to be empty of nature. Then, through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, how should a son or daughter of noble family train who wishes to practice the profound Prajnaparamita? Addressed in this way, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, said to Venerable Shariputra, O Shariputra, a son or daughter of noble family who wishes to practice the profound Prajnaparamita should see in this way. Seeing the 5 skandhas to be empty of nature, form is emptiness, emptiness also is form, emptiness is no other than form, form is no other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, perception, formation, and consciousness are emptiness. Thus, Shariputra, all dharmas are emptiness. There are no characteristics, there is no birth and no cessation, there is no impurity, no purity, there is no decrease and no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no perception, no formation, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no dharmas, no I, dhatu, up to no mind, dhatu, no dhatu of dharmas, no mind, consciousness, dhatu, no ignorance, no end of ignorance, up to no old age and death, no end of old age and death, no suffering, no origin of suffering, no cessation of suffering, no path, no wisdom, no attainment, and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, since the bodhisattvas have no attainment, they abide by means of Prajnaparamita. Since there is no obscuration of mind, there is no fear. They transcend falsity and attain complete nirvana. All the Buddhas of the 3 times by means of Prajnaparamita fully awaken to unsurpassable, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the great mantra of Prajnaparamita, the mantra of great insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra that calms all suffering should be known as true, since there is no deception. The Prajnaparamita mantra is said in this way. Teata om gate gate, paragate, parasangate, bodhisoha. Thus Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound Prajnaparamita. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, saying, good, good, O son of noble family, thus it is, O son of noble family, thus it is. One should practice the profound Prajnaparamita just as you have taught, and all the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Venerable Shariputra and noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, that whole assembly in the world with its gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, rejoiced and praised the words of the Blessed One. Ngala jubene jodambane ngoshe dojong ayi dodojen robabo lama yibo jenzi nezong andro zola yadze. Agasamara Tashandara Samaraya Medeyadong Gate Barakate Barasangate Bodhiso Baba Ganjo Zanji Gai Deme Doji Robo Doji Mibo Doji Shiva Doji Dragi Beji Medum Beji Danji Jedengo Yeso Gerin Doja Gejo Jewada Medonu Bejin Dan Dewada Tomba Dunji Munzun Zun Yoji Daji De Yan and The fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun, and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. Holy Lamas high, wrap the sky of your Dharma bodies in massive clouds of knowledge and love. Let them pour upon the earth of your disciples as we are ready, a shower of rain, the teachings deep and wide. I send forth this jeweled mandala to you, precious Guru. Edam Guru Radha Mandala Ram Niratayami. Yadan Jaya Janam La Janjo Bado Dani Jazo Jin Nagi Chenye Jibezananye Jala Benje Zanye Jubajo. Yadan Jaya Janam La Janjo Bado Dani Jazo Jin Nagi Chenye Jibezananye Jala Benje Zanye Jubashu. Zanye Jadan Jaya Janam La Janjo Bado Dani Jazo Jin Nagi Chenye Jibe Sonam Ji Rola Benje Zanye Jubajo.
这些大家的路上些工作下，第一阶段那了，对吧？三把手。
So we should be thinking that for the benefit of all sentient beings, for their sake of becoming a Buddha, I am listening to and understanding this seven-limb teaching on the seven-limb prayer.
他当不下车也了，那老马下去做这边，那我教育到了我的下车也了的是。
So the first limb is the limb of homage, and this limb of homage, if we can, when we are doing meditation, we can have as our object of observation Buddha Shakyamuni, and we imagine Buddha Shakyamuni in the place in front of us, and with all of or whatever deity we wish to meditate upon in the space in front of us, and then we can make this seven-limb prayer. And the seven-limb prayer begins with the limb of prostration.
那你把区别了。
那的下车言啦，的我个记了呗。
下车累计下车哇，哪个下车哇，一直下车送一些。
对，累下车个这个的。
那是都是下车咯。
So then, when we divide prostration into categories, we divide it into three: prostration of the body, prostration of the speech, and prostration of the mind. So we imagine we are either doing physical prostrations, which is a prostration of the body, where we're paying homage. Rinpoche showed the bowing posture. We have semi-prostrations, which are when we put our just 4 parts of our body on the ground. We have a full prostration where we put our entire body on the ground. And then we also can just make a bow, and that is considered a form of a physical prostration. The next is a mental prostration, where we imagine we're paying homage. And then, so we're making prostrations. We imagine that we are paying homage. And then the final is the verbal, and this is where we're actually saying, I pay homage, I prostrate to the Buddhas. So these are the 3 forms of prostration or homage, which is the first limb. And we do this with the object of observation of Buddha in front of us. So we are making prostrations or paying homage to him or her if we've chosen a different deity. 네?
이번 주범 비유라. 다 답으로 담아서 참마 사지라서 라마 사지라서 같은 주범 비유들 주범 비유라스.
So the next limb is called the limb of offering. And the limb of offering, we can just imagine that we're all of the things that are wonderful. We're offering all of these things to the Buddha. So we're imagining that everything that there is to offer, we're imagining that we're offering these things to the Buddha. And when we make this offering, we say the syllables Om Ah Hom, Om Ah Hom, Om Ah Hom. We say this 3 times. Whatever offering we're making purifies it into a form that is an acceptable form of offering. It is the best form, the most purest form of offering that we can make. So if we make an offering of some food or drink, we first say Om Ah Hom, Om Ah Hom, Om Ah Hom, and we imagine that from emptiness, it turns into a pure aspect of an offering. And the same thing with every type of offering that we make. If we, no matter what we're doing, we do this in relation to the idea that the action of offering, the person offering, and the person we're offering to, so ourselves, the action of offering, and the object of our offering, so the person or the being that we're offering to, all these things are empty of true establishment. So when we're making these offerings, we need to also understand that these offerings are not truly established, that they have a concealed truth, and that concealed truth is that they dependently originate as all phenomenon does. So when we're making offerings, we need to understand that these things are not substantially existent, that these are offerings that we are making that through dependent origination, the action, agent, and object are empty of true establishment. So whenever we make offerings, this is important. The chupa bu, the toma ni sanodan ya shu. Then the chupa san, the nga toma ni, chupa toma ni, the yo toma ni. Then chupa, then yesha. Shaba.
다 르지 군에 되고 나 군에 사비 되고 이주 군에 사비 되고 도노로 네버 도지 통고는 샤다지 아키치.
So it's very important. So the next limb, so the first limb is prostration. The second limb is offering. The next limb is confession or acknowledgement of downfalls, acknowledgement of our mistakes or wrongs. And this we do in the presence of the object of the Buddha as well, where we're acknowledging this thing that we've done. So we leave in our mind this imprint of an acknowledgement that what we have done is something that we don't wish to do again. And the way that we can then practice this limb of confession is by applying what are called the 4 opponent powers: the opponent power of regret, the opponent power of commitment, the opponent power of antidote, and the opponent power of basis. So we regret what we've done. We make some sort of a commitment to not do it again, whether it's for an hour, we won't do it again, or for a day, or for a lifetime, we won't do it again. And then we actually meditate on some sort of purification, some sort of mantra, some sort of opponent that serves as a specific antidote to the misdeeds that we are trying to purify and acknowledged. So we then apply a Vajrasattva 100-syllable mantra, or another mantra of our choice, or we do the 35 Buddhas of confession. Whatever we can do in order to place a specific antidote to what we've confessed will then purify it very strongly. And then we rely on the power of basis, which is going for refuge and generating bodhicitta, because everything we do is in relation to sentient beings, everything we do wrong. And if we then change our motivation, we go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and then wish to only benefit, wish to become a Buddha for the sake of all beings, then this motivation becomes the strongest motivation that allows us not to do these misdeeds again that harm others. Because anytime we create a misdeed, we're creating a longer path to Buddhahood, which creates a longer time for us to be a way for us to be able to actually help sentient beings because of our current handicap of not being omniscient. Okay. Then Deepa Shaba Lason.
Geshe Lharampa. Beba chung la chen chu de ba. Ke la Geshe dang chu de mas. O jero chu de song ba des. Kale chu chung jen ke wa la chu sa ba. Sa de ba yo ba in Geshe dang ke chu des.
Then Lama Tsongkhapa. So the next limb is called rejoicing. The Lama Tsongkhapa is stated that there is something we can do that's very little effort that has great result, and that is rejoicing. Rejoicing in the good that we have done. Rejoicing in the good of all ordinary and superior beings. Rejoicing in every good that's ever been done by a hearer, a solitary realizer, a bodhisattva, an ordinary being who doesn't even follow the path, a Christian, a Muslim. Just rejoicing in all of these good deeds plants seeds in our mind that we like good deeds. So our mind becomes familiar with liking good deeds. Our mind just became familiar with not liking bad deeds, and we figured out a way to make a commitment to not make those bad deeds. Now we make our mind familiar with doing good deeds and rejoicing in the greatest deeds that have ever been done, so we can eventually do those greatest deeds that have already been done by the Buddhas on their way to their goals. And the next is the limb of requesting the turning of the wheel of Dharma, or requesting Buddha Shakyamuni to please turn the wheel of Dharma, to continue to teach, to have these teachings continue. So when we're doing deity yoga, we imagine the deity of our choice in front of us, and we're requesting that this teaching, this continuum, this stream of realization and teaching continues to come to us. So we see the link in all of the vehicles. We have the Hinayana vehicle where we have the 7-limb prayer. We have the Mahayana vehicle and the perfection vehicle with the 7-limb prayer, as well as the tantric vehicle. And this 7-limb prayer connects you to the deity and the deity's enlightened activities by aligning with him or her. So we then request that this continues, request the turning of the wheel of Dharma. The Buddha turned the wheel of Dharma, and the first in Varanasi taught the Four Noble Truths, and then the second turning of the wheel of Dharma in Jago Pongbiri at Vulture Peak Mountain in Bodh Gaya, near Bodh Gaya at Vulture Peak Mountain, taught the Heart Sutra, and then turned the wheel of good differentiation. So Buddha Shakyamuni turned the wheel of Dharma 3 times, and that is the basis of what we learn. So it's for that reason that we ask these deities to continue to turn that wheel. Okay, so then the 6th limb is the limb of entreatment or begging, where we beg that these beings do not pass into nirvana, do not go to an abiding nirvana where we can't relate to them, where we can't have relationships and learn from them. So we beg them to please stay in our world, because the only thing that keeps them in this world is their in relation to us, the only thing that keeps a Buddha in this world in relation to Jeff is A, the Buddha's compassion for Jeff, and B, Jeff's faith in that Buddha. That relationship has to dependently originate in order for there to be that teacher-student relationship. So it's important that we beg our teachers not to pass into nirvana, to stay with us, to continue to teach.
제가 자수초는 주디 따라 자수 먹어봐 때문에 대신 상추용 거와요. 상추 맛도 봐 때문에 세상 다지거든 사지 공부도 좀 뭐봐이나 거와데 사지 공부 맛도 봐도 조금 말했어.
So the final limb that we make is the limb of dedication. So Buddha has stated that the reason that we make a limb of dedication is so that our virtues that we've created don't just get extinguished in some worldly chaff, in some worldly experience, like some virtue, some happy that's fleeting, that has the suffering of change within it. So we dedicate our virtue to a specific goal, and that goal is to become a Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. The Buddha has stated that once we dedicate a virtue for the sake of becoming enlightened, that virtue doesn't get extinguished until the enlightenment, until the experience of enlightenment occurs, that virtue becomes the cause of. So that virtue carries through and becomes the cause for that eventual enlightenment, as long as it's dedicated to that aim. So it's very important that we do this. So we have the first limb, we have Buddha Shakyamuni, or deity, whoever we're imagining in front of us. And we've gotten into the 7-point Vairocana posture. You can look that up in Liberation or in the Lamrim Chemo. And then we imagine that this, in the smallest form we can, with the most detail, that Buddha Shakyamuni in front of us. We can follow also, there's many different visualizations of Shakyamuni that are less detailed and more detailed. Whatever you're comfortable with in your visualization, just imagine Shakyamuni in the front of you, or a deity of your choice in the smallest detailed version you can, and then make prostrations, make offerings, acknowledge your downfalls, rejoice in all of the good that holy and ordinary beings have done, request the turning of the wheel of Dharma, beg the teachers and the deities to stay in this world, and then dedicate that virtue that's been created through that process of the 6 limbs that have already been engaged in, and the visualization of Buddha Shakyamuni. And you can visualize really any deity and make offerings to, because all deities all the tantric deities are Buddhas, and one Buddha doesn't have more quality than another Buddha. Just make sure that the object of observation is a Buddha, because as Buddhists, we don't go for refuge to worldly deities. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. So right now, again, we have this horrible disease, illness, the COVID-19 in this world. And it's very important that we all engage in mantric recitation for the benefit of ourselves and others. Engage in the mantric recitation of Taras, Om Tare, Tu Tare, Ture, Soha. And we know that the meaning of Tara's mantra is Om Tare. Tara is the liberator. Om Tare, Tu Tare. Tara is the liberator of fear. Om Tare, Tu Tare. Ture. Tara is the liberator from sickness. Soha, it shall be done. And then meditation and recitation of Medicine Buddha's mantra, Teata Om Bekense Bekense Maha Bekense Ranzo Samogati Soha. Doing these things and recognizing that the illness is empty of true establishment. The people who are ill are empty of true establishment. Those who will become ill are empty of true establishment. The disease itself is empty of true establishment. We are empty of true establishment. The meditation we're doing is empty of true establishment, and emptiness is empty of true establishment. We need to meditate upon all of these things without arriving at substantiality or nihilism in order to have a proper meditation that is free of error. Dison. So the Tara's mantra, name mantra, says Tara is the liberator of the one who is a liberator from cyclic existence. Korwa, so a liberator of cyclic existence, a liberator of fear, a liberator from all ills or sicknesses. So it's for that reason that this mantra is very powerful. Okay, so now do we have any questions about the 7-limb prayer or just questions in general, thank you, everyone. I just want to let you know, you do keep seeing dogs, and this is not my making. I keep saying we should have the dogs out, but Rinpoche says the dogs should listen to the Dharma. So he insists that the dogs stay in the room. And during the initiation, I put them out, and Rinpoche was not happy that I put them out during the initiation because he wanted them to be able to hear the initiation. So if you see dogs popping up and licking and so forth, that's Rinpoche's request. Yes, so let me see if there are any questions. And then I've just got to remember that we do the concluding prayers and so forth. And I won't confuse anyone about a meeting today. Yeah, great quit. Brian, the Senche, Gunzo Senche, Dundan Senche, the Chepagare. So what's the difference between ultimate bodhicitta and conventional bodhicitta?
Gunzo Senche is not Senche Taji Gundo, Saji Gubutu, Shao Nabe, Senche Bajin,
So conventional bodhicitta is the thought, is may I become a Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. So this thought is the conventional bodhicitta, this idea that you wish to become a Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings, so that you can bring all sentient beings to a state of enlightenment. So for the sake of infers that for their sake, so that you can bring them to Buddhahood, so that they can achieve Buddhahood as well. This is the conventional bodhicitta. The bodhicitta that we speak of, meditate upon, that is a mind. So chitta, bodhi means Buddha, chitta means mind. So literally it's Buddha mind. So we have to interpret what that Sanskrit means, and what it means is this generation that aspires to, this mind that aspires to becoming a Buddha. This mind that just aligns with this idea of what a Buddha is, wants to be a Buddha for the sake of others. So this is the conventional bodhicitta. Dundampi senche gare. Semche maya.
Raje Baba, Saje Baba, Sung Tujuji, Tonyo Mosu Tubishi, the Lagres.
So the Nyan tu, Doni Ngosum, Yeshe, the sen.
Tonyo Mosu Tubishi, Nyatu Papa Leyoade, Raje Papa Leyoade, Tejan Papa Leyoderva.
This sencheyan. Okay, so ultimate. So we have to be careful. So we're using the word mind generation. So conventional mind generation is this mind that wishes to become a Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. Ultimate mind generation, which is, we have categories in other vehicles. The hearer, solitary realizer, and bodhisattva vehicles all have mind generation. It's the wisdom realizing, the exalted wisdom that realizes, directly realizes emptiness. So this realization of emptiness is the mind generation of the hearer, the solitary realizer, and then the bodhisattva. Then Teichen Senche, the Teichen Dondampi Senche is Sho Sena. So if we would say, what is the great vehicle, the Mahayana mind generation, it would be a bodhisattva. Okay, so when we look at there are 5 paths, 5 Mahayana paths: the path of accumulation, the path of preparation, the path of seeing, path of meditation, and the path of no more learning. One becomes a bodhisattva at the path of accumulation, generates bodhicitta, generates what that conventional bodhicitta that we speak of, and then strengthens their resolve in relation to emptiness by achieving a union of calm abiding and special insight, and arriving at an inferential valid cognition of emptiness. At that point, he or she is at the kind of line of demarcation between ordinary being and superior. Once that line is crossed for the bodhisattva into the path of seeing, once he or she is at the path of seeing and directly realizing emptiness, that is the Mahayana ultimate mind generation. Then the Tonglang, Gonja Sarna, Dondampi senche yurbe mena yuna mena.
돈이 무슨 두로 다들 돈이 무슨 가지 두바이나 다다 사실이요.
Yene doni ngusun mena jepa gyana the Dondampi senche yomare. So only the only bodhicitta that is ultimate bodhicitta is when the bodhisattva is directly realized, having a direct valid cognition of emptiness. When he or she is directly realizing emptiness, they are bodhisattvas, so they have bodhicitta. That bodhicitta that's occurring, that's just there, that's just like when you pour water and milk together, they're both there. That bodhicitta is there, but there's no actual cognition going on. There's just a direct realization of emptiness. So when we say ultimate bodhicitta is ultimate bodhicitta, the Rinpoche, the Dondampi senche, the senche yin. So ultimate bodhicitta isn't, ultimate mind generation isn't mind generation. Do you understand that? It's just the mind that's occurring. The bodhisattva always has this mind when he or she has bodhicitta. After the second level of the path of accumulation, this mind just stays there. It's like it's always occurring. The mind that aspires to enlightenment is always occurring, whether they're going to the bathroom or driving a car. This mind that aspires to enlightenment is almost a tone that's always on. Almost like the mind that aspires to enlightenment is always there. When one is seeing emptiness, it's there, but it's not being. There's no cognition of it at that point because one is only directly realizing emptiness. The bodhicitta at that point is ultimate bodhicitta. But we say ultimate bodhicitta isn't mind generation. Ultimate mind generation isn't mind generation because generation infers something where there is cognition and thinking and consciousness moving and about bodhicitta, about other sentient beings. Whereas at the direct realization of emptiness is merely on that object of observation, emptiness. So that direct realization is the ultimate bodhicitta. An inferential valid cognition that's occurring, which is incontrovertible, is not considered ultimate bodhicitta. It's only that direct perception of emptiness of a bodhisattva. Does Rinpoche know Trango Rinpoche? I'm reading his commentary on Shanti Deva's Bodhisattvas. Trango Rinpoche, good sodo. He does not know Trango Rinpoche. Trango Rinpoche is a very great scholar, though. Trango Rinpoche, the Karmapa Gegen Yomarabe. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Maybe I don't want to say. I think maybe Karmapa. The Triwa Yure, the Trango Rinpoche, good sodo. Gangesene kon de Shuju, the Delpa Yure. Then kon Lama Yapo Mayan kon Triwa, the Gangesene kon Becha Lodu. I'm going to bring up a picture of Trango Rinpoche. I think Rinpoche knows him. Kon Kamne Rinpoche.
Yeah.
Oh, my phone just died. Okay. Yeah, the kon Chiran, the Trango Rinpoche, the Jitse, Chiran Chipa. Kon Kamne, kon Kaju Lama. Kaju Lama Chembo.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rinpoche, I believe, knows of him, but maybe doesn't know, much about him. Because I showed him a picture the other day of Trango Rinpoche. Why does it take so many eons to reach enlightenment? The Garshine, the Natsu Shanchu, Kalpa Mambogu, the Kalpa Drame Son, the Shacha Tupa Senche, then Kalpa Drame Son. Garshine, the Shiro's Rimbo. The so Garshine, the Jewa Tuma Meba. Nene, the Natsu, the Jewa Ngama Kalpa, Mambo Deepa Sason. The Deepa Da, the Kalpa Mambo Goa, the Drawa Yirbe. So there are different explanations. One is that since beginningless time, so we've created these negativities. So we have an enormous amount of negativities that are within our mental continuum that have not been extinguished, that are alongside our virtues as well. And it's because of the amount of time and the amount of negativities that we have to generate this wisdom, but also the collection of merit. So it's necessary to collect an enormous amount of merit, good deeds, virtue, to act as opponents so that our mind becomes saturated with only good. And it's almost like all of good comes and all of the negative oozes out eventually. But it takes just as much good plus to get through, to penetrate our negativities. Because when we create a non-virtue, it grows in strength. And Buddha said karma is more difficult to understand than emptiness. So we have to understand there's a bit of an omniscient handicap going on when we're trying to understand and explain it. But it's like we have this saturation of negativity that we've got to saturate with goodness. If that makes any sense. Yomare. Yeah, Chango Rinpoche, they chirang get true. Chango Rinpoche becha logudu.
Yeah.
They kon shunju becha. Then the Chango Rinpoche ngu shegudu kon triwa.
Chango Rinpoche churung keba yinba nga kosmos. And then what the churung danjiya grawa yus.
Yeah, so he does know that I was just going back to Chango Rinpoche. He says, I do know of you, Chango Rinpoche, and you are a great scholar. That is just what Rinpoche is saying. How does a person not fall into nihilism? By thinking that all sentient beings, especially those suffering in the hospital from COVID-19, how do we not lose compassion for them by not generating wrong view of emptiness of the illness? Okay, it's a great question. Tanda the COVID, the natsa chembo yure, nepa mambo yure, natsa yure. Then natsa nepo, the demba madrupa sano dana. Then natsu the ninji kandreje, gangin sena the konsu demba madrupa, tomba nian. Then the konsu toni, then natsa toni. Then natsa toni, then keo mare, then ninji garishinegu, kontriwa, chita. Conchita lesson. The conchiwa, the Nepa, Tengsan Zambaling Nepo, Mambo Yure. Nene, the Natsu Tomba ni, Gonjana, Nepo Tomba ni, Dendarium Bichir. The Natsa Tomba ni, Dendarium Bichir. Nene, Natsu the Gonjana, Chishina Chita, Legere. Nene, Natsu Semche Kalikabudu, Gangisina Natsu the natso sampa the natsa the mepa dan drapo gangisina dendelium tombani the nepa tombani natsa tombani menkan tombani then they senche kalikabudu yomarebe
yomarisana senche julcha kalikaburo
then the contriwa the natsu the gon the Konsu toni yemba sanoda nepa toni nepa demba madrupa demba madrute dendea yembijir. Then they natsu mambo gona then nepo mepa sanoda.
The Gombaina Denzin Nerders. Denzin knows one Denzin Devil, Yamul Nerders. Yamul knows on a tail Devil Dungel Nerders.
Then they mepa toni yena. Then it's the ninji dan shamba kandreje gangin sine the tomba the kon tomba da mepa the chugudo
tomba se mebal ko jo mares
the kechemudu
deba chubi tongasana deba maruba the deba maruba to deba chubi tonalagres the toni res the shezona ki and the pensioners denzil nerdere nyamul nerdere dongel nerders.
Then the doni dopi shira dan senche nyamdu yabudwe. So it's important to understand the meaning of emptiness. So what we're trying to do when we meditate upon emptiness is to veer away from two specific negativities. One is called substantialism, where we feel that the object of observation, in this case we'll use an ill person, is truly established, does not dependently originate. They're aggregates. There's no they are their aggregates. There's some inherent Atman, true self there, that is substantially existent. The other negativity we have to steer away from is the negativity that believes there is no sick person there, that there is no hospital, there is no negativity going on. This is called nihilism. So emptiness is neither one of those two. Emptiness is not thinking that that being is substantially existent, nor is it thinking that that being is non-existent. So we understand that COVID-19 dependently originates. It depends upon so many different factors. We don't need to get into them. But in order for COVID-19 to occur, the illness, it dependently originates. There are many causes and conditions that come together, form as a collection, and then we name this illness COVID-19. And then someone gets this illness that is a collection, that is a coming together of parts that is nominally designated as a sick person. And then we see them, we recognize that they now have COVID-19 because of dependent origination. So dependent origination is what makes the terrible thing occur, just like dependent origination makes us react and see. So everything that we are perceiving works. Dependent origination and emptiness doesn't mean that the things don't work. It means that they only work because of dependent origination. So we don't see that being as non-existent or substantially existent. We see them as abiding the way they abide through dependent origination. But that abiding is sick and is suffering. And our reaction, which dependently originates of compassion, wishing that they be free from suffering, actually works as well, and we experience it. And that's why cyclic existence occurs over and over again, is because of this grasping at things as being truly established. And Rinpoche said that if we can get rid of this grasping at things as being either non-existent or substantial, and follow into the middle road where we see that they are abiding conventionally, but their concealed truth is that they're not truly established. There's a collection coming together there. But that collection works. That collection that comes together makes a person sick and they suffer. The collection that comes together that is a car allows you to drive down the street. The collection that comes together that is a bridge allows you to go over a body of water. So it performs that function and it works. And is experienced as it is. So valid cognition would say that, yes, that person is sick. Yes, that person has COVID. But valid cognition would also say that that person is empty of true establishment simultaneously. So that's how you would generate compassion, because the same exact reason you would generate compassion now, but with a little more subtlety within that compassion. Okay, so if there's no more, maybe more, I don't know. Okay, so we'll do the concluding prayers, and thank you everybody for your great questions and for attending. Any translation mistakes, I apologize for, and we're still, the transmissions and the ideas about that are all in the works. And just so you know, Rinpoche's health is very, very well. The fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. I dedicate whatever virtues I have collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of Venerable Lobsang Drakpa to shine forever. I send forth this jeweled mandala to you, precious Guru. I dedicate all this virtue to emulate the knowledge of the hero Manjushri and likewise Samantabhadra as well. With whatever dedication is praised as supreme by all the conquerors who traverse the 3 times, I also dedicate all my roots of virtue for the sake of auspicious deeds. In that pure land surrounded by snowy mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness. All-powerful Avalokiteshvara, Tenzin Gyatso, may you stay until samsara's end. I pray for the long life of the precious Khensur Wandak, upholder of scriptural and realizational doctrines, the spiritual friend who trains extensively in the 5 great philosophical texts with exceptional wisdom and perseverance. Suji Rinpoche Guzi Shapi Denuna. And Rinpoche said that now Suma and the dogs have the,
창고로 이제 가봐야 돼.
imprints. Got it.
창고로 이제 가봐요.
I don't know. Trango Rinpoche, they get through you.
알려.
Tanda nga hako mare. Trango Rinpoche get through. Now what do I do? Just stop the recording?
That's what he said. Record.